Let me tell you about the oak tree in my backyard. To most people, it's just a tree, a massive, sprawling oak with roots so deep they probably reach the molten core of the earth. To me, though, it's the soul of my home. It's even the reason my wife Amber and I bought this house 8 years ago. We, Ryan and Amber, were just an average couple chasing the dream of home ownership. I'm an environmental consultant, meaning I help cities and companies make their buildings more energy efficient without wrecking the planet. Amber is a freelance graphic designer, the kind of person who can make a living room look magazine-ready without breaking a sweat. When we found this house in a quiet Denver suburb, we were sold the moment we stepped into the backyard. That oak tree was a giant, ancient sentinel. Its canopy shaded the entire yard and gave the place a serene, magical charm. The realtor called it historical charm and natural beauty. But all I thought was, this tree is perfect. Amber fell in love at first sight, too. The house itself needed work, but she already envisioned string lights, a patio for summer dinners, and the oak as the centerpiece. Within a month, we were homeowners and newlyweds, ready to build our life around that tree. The neighborhood was exactly what we wanted: tree-lined streets, pristine sidewalks, and neighbors who waved as they walked their dogs. It felt like a Hallmark movie setting, minus the dramatic plot twists. But we soon learned that idyllic charm came with a price: the HOA. I'm not anti-HOA in principle. They keep the place looking nice, and I get that people don't want their neighbors turning their yards into junkyards. But some of the rules were over the top. Trash cans had to be hidden within 3 hours of collection, grass had to be exactly 3 inches, and you couldn't plant anything but perfect squares of Kentucky bluegrass. That last rule was our first point of tension with the HOA, or more specifically, with Karen. Karen, the HOA president, was a divorced woman in her late 40s whose entire personality revolved around being in charge. She knew every rule, every bylaw, and every loophole. Our first run-in was about a year after we moved in. I'd transformed a patch of our front yard into a native wildflower garden to attract bees and butterflies. Karen thought it was a messy weed patch. She left a note citing an obscure HOA rule about neighborhood harmony and demanded we replace it with grass. But here's the thing, I don't back down when I know I'm right. I combed through the HOA guidelines and highlighted every line that supported my case. At the next meeting, I presented it. Karen gave me a tight-lipped smile, which felt like the start of a vendetta. The wildflowers stayed, but Karen wasn't done. She set her sights on our oak tree. The oak was planted in 1912 as part of Denver's Arbor Day celebrations during the city's City Beautiful movement. Over the decades, it survived the Dust Bowl, blizzards, and urban expansion. At 110 years old, it was one of the last original trees in the neighborhood, a living piece of history. To Amber, it was our muse. She did photo shoots with it as the backdrop and loved hosting barbecues beneath its canopy. But Karen saw a problem. She'd walk by and comment, "That tree's getting awfully big," or "Old trees can be dangerous." At HOA meetings, she started talking about safety risks posed by large trees. Then, the rumors started. She told neighbors the tree was unstable. I had the tree inspected twice. Both arborists confirmed it was healthy. Karen didn't care. One day, I found a fake arborist report in my mailbox, claiming the tree was rotting and needed immediate removal. Karen had either faked it or hired someone shady. Amber was furious. I scheduled 2 more inspections. Both confirmed the tree was healthy. But Karen escalated her campaign. She turned every HOA meeting into a crusade against our tree. Neighbors started avoiding our house. Then, the worst happened. One Tuesday, I heard heavy machinery. I found a tree-cutting crew in our backyard, already cutting into the oak. They said Karen had hired them, claiming it was an emergency. I shouted, "Stop! You don't have permission." The crew hesitated but stopped. Karen arrived, smirking. "This is for the safety of the neighborhood," she said. "This tree is healthy, and you know it." I snapped. "You've overstepped your authority." Karen's face flushed. "I have a responsibility to protect this community." Just then, the tree groaned. It was too damaged. With a deafening crack, it fell, right onto Karen's Mercedes convertible, crushing it. Karen screamed, "My car! This is your fault." "No," Amber shot back. "This happened because you cut the tree without permission." Karen stormed off. A few days later, we got a lawsuit in the mail. Karen was suing us for negligence, claiming we allowed a dangerous tree to destroy her car. But our insurance company launched an investigation, and the arborist confirmed Karen's unauthorized cuts caused the collapse. Depositions revealed Karen had hired an unqualified arborist and manipulated HOA rules to control neighbors. More residents came forward with stories of Karen's petty behavior. The HOA board eventually condemned her actions, and Karen had to settle. She paid $250,000, resigned as HOA president, and moved out of the neighborhood. Amber and I planted a new oak to honor the old one. It wasn't the same, but it was a start. And every time I see that young tree growing, I'm reminded that even after the storm, life finds a way to begin again.